Hey, how's it going everyone? Today we're going to be working on this Nintendo GameCube. Now this one specifically is region locked for Japan, and I want to go ahead and show you the steps required in order to switch it over to an American region. Now let me go ahead and boot it up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now a lot of it is very similar to what you would expect in the American base, except of course the text is just in Japanese, right? So everything is very similar. The only thing is that you can't change the language from this menu. So for those reasons, we're going to go into the system and actually change out it's just a bridge that you would have to solder on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the system off, and we're going to go ahead and start deep diving into this, and I'll show you the steps needed to get it into the American based region. So let's go ahead and turn this off. Let's go ahead and unplug all the cables in the back. Make sure that the power's off. Now for this one, I already had the GameCube screws removed. I've been testing some disk drives, and this one actually in particular, the disk drive doesn't work. So we'll go ahead and replace it once we're done changing the region. But in case you don't know how to open this, you'll need to remove these 4 screws that are located here to remove the top housing. So that should remove this top here. Once you have the top housing removed, you're simply just going to want to remove this. It's just clipped on from the sides. Now this one in particular has a lot of screws missing, and I do have some replacement screws because this is just the way I received the GameCube. I don't know if they had worked on it before or what, but this one in particular is missing all the screws, but nonetheless it had 4 screws here in the front that you're going to have to remove. There's the other screws that you're going to have to remove here. This is to remove the fan. I believe there's another one possibly back here. Let me see if I can show that. Yeah, so it's right here. This will allow you to remove the fan, so this one you can just simply move to the side once it's removed. And then underneath that you'll have screws. I believe there's 12 of them that are located all around. So these 4 here, and you can also remove this clip back here, and you'll see an additional 3-4 screws back here, and some screws here that are located on the side. Once all that's removed, you can simply remove the disk drive by just lifting this up. But normally this is screwed on to this plate, so normally this would all go in one piece. So we're going to go ahead and remove that out of the way now. So it does look like they left these screws on here, and you can see they're the heatsink screws. We're going to have to go ahead and remove these as well. So let's go ahead and get a Phillips screwdriver and let's start removing these. Once all the screws are removed, this paste is actually held down pretty tightly in most cases. I know this is going to require a bit of strength to remove. There we go. So we got ours out of the way. Once you remove the heatsink, you should be able to see the resistors that we need to modify in order to change the region, which is located right here. Since you can't really see it well with this camera, let me go ahead and get my microscope. And here we are. So these are the ones that are in question, and that's exactly in the region that I mentioned. So right now this R5 resistor that's currently connected is controlling the region for Japan, and we simply need to move this over into the R6, and I'm going to be using some hot air in order to actually get that into an American base. So it's pretty straightforward. You can use a soldering iron, or you can use just something to bridge it together. It really doesn't matter, but in my case I'm just going to use a hot air station to move this over since I already have the tool. So let me go ahead and get that warmed up, and then we'll get started. Let's start by applying a little bit of flux. All right, so I did run into a little issue when I was trying to reapply the resistor onto this R6 connection. As you can see, it flew off God knows where. So what I'm going to end up doing is just the alternative method, which is simply just to bridge it with a piece of metal. It's really not that big of a deal that it flew out. It's just that it's a little frustrating that now I'm going to have to just have to add the cable, but it is an alternate method. I think I just had the wind speed a little too high, even though I thought I set it low, and it flew out there. But All we're really gonna go ahead and do is just simply bridge that connection for the R6 and they should still resolve the issue. So let me go get my soldering iron and let's get started. Now that we soldered that onto place, let's go ahead and test that it's on there, and it is. We're gonna start by putting back the heatsink. Now let's go ahead and put back this housing. Now I know I didn't screw it in. I just wanna go ahead and test it out and make sure that everything's working. So let's go ahead and just do a quick connect here. Just putting everything back just kind of loosely. So once everything is connected here, we're just gonna simply hold these by pushing these back. Just don't be too hard with them because you can actually break them, and then push the power button. Once that's on, let's go ahead and see if this works. All right. And there we go. You can see that everything is changed back to the American region. So this is exactly what we wanted it to do. Now we can say that this is actually working, but like I said, or maybe I didn't say it earlier on, but I know the disk drive is not working on it, but let's go ahead and test it out anyway. So let me go ahead and just turn this off real quick. All right, so let's go ahead and test it out with a disk. So here I have Metroid Prime. This is the original one for the GameCube. I know they just remastered it, and I'm actually pretty glad they did. The remaster has been pretty awesome lately, and I just got good things to say about it. So let's see if anything turns up on the screen here. All right, and just as I suspected, this disk drive is broken, but we can replace it with one that is working. I do have some on hand. Let me go ahead and pull one real quick just to make sure that everything is working on this GameCube. All right, so here we got a working disk drive. Let's test this one out and make sure that everything's working. Awesome, there we go. It seems to be loading up. Let's connect the remote control. And there you go. The game's working. So that's pretty awesome. Let's test it out here. Nice. All right, let me go ahead and power this off so I'm not holding on to it. So as you can see, we were able to easily switch out the region on this Nintendo GameCube. Now, unfortunately, the only problem that we faced here was my own technical set of skills on the hot air station. I know that resistor blew off somewhere. I couldn't find it anymore. I was looking around my table, but that thing is so tiny. I mean, you had to see it through the microscope, right? But luckily, we did have a backup solution for this, and that was just simply to create a bridge on it. Now I did use some copper pad strips that I bought from Northridge Fix. They have a lot of them. In case you guys are wondering where I received them, I can go ahead and put the link below for the exact product. But that's really all there is to it. If you want to remove and you have a Japanese-based GameCube, hopefully this was something that was entertaining for everyone. I know it's been a while since I've put out some new videos, but honestly, I've been having a couple of issues and just kind of been trying to take care of some things personally on my end. Mainly with health related stuff. So I mean, not to get into it, I do plan on releasing a lot more videos in the future, so please stay tuned. I did get a couple of hardware, so if things sound a little off or things are a little bit different, that's because I'm trying a new setup, and if you have any feedback on it, please let me know in the comments below. But that pretty much wraps up this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit like or leave a like on here, and if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. I'll catch you all next time.